IEM Cologne has just concluded, and this is everything that happened. So starting off, this is exactly how IEM Cologne works. Number one, we have the play-ins. The play-ins is where 16 teams will compete for 8 qualification spots into the next stage, which is the group stage. The group stage is how you get into the playoffs, and there's an upper bracket and a lower bracket, and is filled with 16 teams. 16 teams will then qualify for 8 spots, and those 8 spots will be transferred over into the playoffs, where there's quarterfinals, semifinals, and the grand finals for the win. In this video, I'll be covering the highlights of the groups and the entirety of the playoffs, so let's get straight into it. So for Group A, for the first match, we have a big highlight between Heroic and the Mongols. The Mongols are a team coming from Mongolia, a place with not a huge CS scene, so they put up a very big fight. In my opinion, this is the most entertaining series out of all the groups, simply because of all the stakes on the line. We saw Cadian trash talking the other team.
The creep from Tekla, but where is Cadian? Who's the sacrifice? Trying to swing around the corner, but Cadian will deliver. 5-1, and he's feeling himself.
Yeah, Techno.
But even with all that trash talk, the Mongols took map 1 and almost closed up map 2, bringing it into overtime, where Heroic just barely saved themselves. They then went into map number 3 on Inferno, where Heroic played like themselves and took down the Mongols.
They know that's clear, but Techno unloads with a triple, and it's all up to Cadian to try and save the round. He's gonna go through the smoke. This is so risky. Has Tekka, has to be ready. Miss shot Cadian. He's still alive. That smoke went flying. I don't know if that lands, but he's gonna go for the bomb plant. No stray shots towards him. He'll try and work around this smoke. Cadian wants to isolate the fights. He's hit the first. And 9-10 has to make the move. He knows he's low. It's pistol v pistol. It's Cadian moving in and delivering for Heroic.
Why is this man so good in the clutch?
However, even with beating them, the Mongols showed that they are not a team to be messed around with, and that they are very, very good and are a big threat to a lot of teams in this competition. Then continuing with the upper bracket of Group A, we see Heroic versus Monty. These two teams both played very, very well and had 2 very close games. We had Heroic take map number 1 16-14, but then they also just squeezed by on the second map 16-11, taking a 2-0 over Monty.
Distraction, Yabi's an easy frag. It's down with 40 remaining. 1 versus 2. Trying to pick the right time to reveal himself. He's halfway there, the 180's perfect. And Heroic will squeeze up.
And then for the upper final, we got to see Heroic versus ENCE, and it was up to ENCE to see if they can actually stop this firepower on Heroic and stop their current win streak, and they did just that. This was another very entertaining series, as we got to see a lot of competitive trash talk from both teams, especially Nerds after he hit this insane clutch.
They have got no idea. They just got a kill here. Some Pius has been the ultimate bait, but Nerds brings the trap down! Oh, Nerds! Have you ever seen anything like it? There is no reacting to that one there.
On map 3, it was 14-15, where ENCE just barely closes it out, closing it out 16-14, meaning they actually head straight to the semifinals since they won the group. Then for lower bracket A, we get to see a phenomenal run from Cloud9. If you guys don't know, Cloud9 picked up Electronic and Perfecto and put together their full Russian roster. However, Axile, one of their star players, wasn't able to play in the group stage for Cologne. This was mainly due to visa issues. However, they had their other player Buster fill in, and they still played great. We saw Cloud9 take down 9, Monty, and then to close it off for the qualification spot, they beat Gamer Legion 2-1, and in the final map, went into overtime and closed out overtime.
Verata spots out Buster, nails the shot, up close on triple. Acor's not considered it. He's perfectly played him.
10
Isaac's
seconds,
not looking.
10 seconds.
Not looking. Acor, dead man. Shiro clutches up for Cloud9, a triple in total.
And before playoffs started, Buster was taken out back to the bench, and Axile was put in back for the tournament as he was able to get his visa sorted. This means for Group A, the 3 teams that qualified was Heroic, ENCE, and Cloud9. Now heading into Group B, we have 2 very, very nice opening matches, one between G2 and Astralis, and another between FaZe and NIP. We saw FaZe take in a 2-1 over NIP, with Robs with a 1.4 rating playing out of his mind, putting NIP down into the lower bracket. Then we saw a similar story with G2 versus Astralis. We saw G2 beat Astralis 2-1, but on the Astralis side, Device was carrying so hard it was crazy. The second highest rated player on his team was with a 0.94 rating, while Device was all the way up at a 1.32. Heading up further into the upper bracket, we saw G2 2-0 FaZe, which for me, completely unexpected. I really thought FaZe would put up a bigger fight, however, it wasn't the case. Throughout the series, it really felt like FaZe lost a lot of momentum as it didn't look like they were playing like themselves. Not a single player on the team had over a 0.8 HLTV rating, and overall, they were playing very, very sloppy and lost 16-4 and 16-11.
Brokey. Oh! Brokey dead. Robs, his teammate also falls.
Oh my god, dude, stop the carnage. Stop the carnage.
I mean, if there are small children in the room, make them look away. Protect the elderly. Whatever it...
Then for our upper final, we had Vitality versus G2, and this was a crazy match. On map number 1, we saw Vitality close out Mirage in overtime. Not too big of a surprise for a lot of people. I think Vitality was a major pick here, but when it came to the other two maps, we saw Monizy, the young legend, really shine with his op. G2 was able to close out the next two matches 16-10 and 16-8, with Monizy playing absolutely insane, hitting some pretty crazy shots.
Or not, you can spam through the wall, but he just dry peeks. Monacy not ready for that from Boiler. That's a brilliant shot against the AWPer. JKS will try his luck on the hole, but Flames finds him. Explosive round from Flames, who runs up through short. He's trying to help Spix onto the site, and Flames is still going. One more man, Flames with a quad kill entry onto A. What the hell is that?
Now heading into the lower bracket, this one was super competitive. We saw Astralis really dominate their lower section of the bracket, 2-0ing every single team in their way until they faced Na'Vi. It was Astralis versus Na'Vi for the last qualification spot in IEM Cologne, and this one was competitive. The first map on Ancient went 25-23, and unfortunately, this match was in Na'Vi's favor as they had so many opportunities to close out this overtime. However, they couldn't just quite do it.
Dwindling for Astralis. Blamef looking for a flank. Bit looking for a Blamef. Got Immord by the ramp as well. That's Blamef dealt with. Buzz has a lot to do. They're lining up for him. It's just the one though, and we're back again with more game points for Na'Vi.
However, when it came to Nuke, Na'Vi was looking very strong. They closed out the map 16-9, but on the final map, they couldn't do the same. On map number 3, it was 16-12. Na'Vi slowly making a comeback throughout the game, but Buzz was looking unstoppable. He dropped 31 kills throughout this series and had 20 kills before the first half was even over. That allowed Astralis to qualify for IEM Cologne's playoffs, bringing Device back into the arena. And that concludes Group B. The teams that qualified is G2, Vitality, and Astralis. Now let's head into the playoffs. Starting off with match number 1, we have Vitality versus Cloud9. With Axel returning to the roster and taking Buster's spot, this was their first official match as this new Cloud9 team. In the first match on Mirage, it wasn't looking too hot for them though. We saw them really slack on rotations and overall just look pretty clueless. However, near the second half, they did really start to bring it back on T side. But when you're facing teams like Vitality, arguably the best team in the world, you can't be slacking on rounds like that. So Vitality, of course, took the win 16-11. But then we head over to Inferno. Inferno is a very competitive map, especially for a new roster like Cloud9 since they brought this match into overtime. We saw Shiro make a lot of great plays, as well as Electronic having some great IG yelling. They brought into overtime, but unfortunately fell and lost to Vitality 19-17.
Finding Electronic for free, Shiro steps in, bang, Apex dead, ready for the boost. And even with the flash, the pre-fire on that, beautiful.
This means that Cloud9's eliminated and Vitality moves to the semifinals. Then in the second map, we had Astralis versus Heroic. This one was a difficult series for me to watch. I'm a massive fan of Heroic, and throughout this series, let's just say it was disappointing for me to watch. On Ancient, it really seemed like Heroic weren't playing like themselves, they weren't making any group plays, and their aggression wasn't similar to their old playstyle. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, and due to that, Astralis was able to capitalize on that and take the win. We saw some crazy stats from Buzz with a 1.59 rating, as well as Device with a 1.42 rating, making them a pretty dangerous duo throughout this series.
In time, it's only Buzz left standing against Heroic. Knocks out down, sure, he's ready for the wrap round as well. Knows that this B flank was looking to come in, and that's what Heroic have been waiting for. They were hoping that Yami could bail them out. Buzz! Pristine! Take a bow!
That means Heroic eliminated and Astralis to the semifinals. Then for map 1 on the semifinals, we have ENCE versus Vitality. On map 1, ENCE closed it out 16-14. Nothing too interesting here. However, on Nuke, this was something else. The player Sunpayas on ENCE had an absolute miracle game because this guy played insane. He had so many clutches, amazing moments, and pull off this insane 1v4.
Molotov to stop anyone to hunt, but is he ready? Sunpayas! He was, and our Flames, he's been hurt. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. Sunpayas! Continue! Direct house! Oh, God! Vitality! Wings made of wax as they fly too close to Sunpayas!
This man cannot be stopped!
However, even with pulling a 1.48 rating, it wasn't enough to keep them from losing this map, and Vitality took this one. This left ENCE and Vitality to a map number 3, where ENCE closed it out 16-7, making them another Grand Finals contender, similar to their run in IEM Dallas. The second map of semifinals was G2 versus Astralis, and we really saw the Nico Hunter duo do what they do best. Both these players played phenomenally and took down Astralis on both maps by quite a bit. Device and Blame F still playing well, but not enough to keep them in the series for much longer. That means G2 won this series and brought Astralis out of the competition.
Up in the right place, right time, and Monacy will hold the line. Looking to make this round his, looking to leave his mark. Monacy! 4 kills from the short side, leaves it all on Blame F.
This means for the last IEM Cologne Grand Final of CSGO, we got to see G2 versus ENCE. This is a best of 5 series, meaning they play up to 5 matches to determine a winner, so this was insane. The first 2 maps, we saw a very dominant G2 lead because they won both of them, and we saw ENCE really start to tilt. You could tell throughout the matches that these players were simply not happy, and they kind of looked like going into the third map, it was going to be a clean sweep for G2. However, they brought it back and were playing very, very good in map number 3. It took Anubis, making it 2-1 for G2, but when it came to map number 4 on Ancient, G2 was simply too strong on this map. Nico and Monacy being the stars of this match here, he really earned his MVP as he dominated ENCE and brought home that trophy for G2, making them the IEM Cologne 2023 winners.
And it's up to Nico now in that clutch. Util deployed. Nico poised, needs a tap, and in signature Nico fashion, he's made it a one-on-one. What have you got for us? He's off the bomb. Nico strikes a step closer to the crown.
Pretty much it. This is the last ever IEM Cologne for CSGO, as we now head over to CS2, where that's what the next one will be on. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to stay tuned as I'm going to do more recaps like this for every single tournament of CS2. So I'll see you guys then.